I took it off.
That's what I said to my
crazy.
friend. I was like, he had a hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Oliver Napoleon Hill was born in Pound, Virginia.
What?
His
There's
father-
who middle name Napoleon is like, yeah, we want him
Yeah.
to be a little prick.
I mean, it's really a weird name in 1883. So
Yeah.
his father, James, was a dentist. In that day, dentist, that's definitely...
Yeah. You mean tooth surgeon,
Yeah.
gum murderer.
On the side, his dad dabbled in moonshine.
Sure.
Because you got to have a side job when you're a dentist.
Well, I think back then they called it a side dabble.
That's right. So his mom, Sarah, died when Oliver was just 9 years old. And his dad took a whole year to find a new lady and remarry.
What would you guess the percentage of these start with a parent dying in the first 3 sentences? 35?
Or a kid. I mean, if you want to get into a parent or a kid. I mean,
Then I go, if a kid or a parent dies, it's about 50, 60.
I feel like it's more, but you might.
That's
I think it's like,
it might be.
I think it's like 80. I think it's very.
Okay, all right.
So he married Martha, and Martha kept Oliver on the, quote, straight and narrow.
Okay.
All quotes are from this entire episode is based on Matt Novak's The American Huckster on Paleo Future. Matt Novak is a great writer. I follow him on Twitter also. So Martha pushed him to get an education, and she wanted him to focus on writing. He was having a hard time after his mom died. He called it a life of solitude and frustration.
So is she pushing for this at like age 10? She's like, come on, you gotta write a book.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't want to write a book. She just wants him to write. She wants him to use his imagination and you know.
Right.
So he starts getting into trouble. By 12, he's carrying a revolver.
Sure, most writers are armed at 12.
Yeah, it's a
90%.
It's a Hemingway thing.
Yeah, it's either you have that and a pen.
That's right. Martha then bought him a typewriter, hoping he would go in the other direction. And she told him, quote, if you become as good with a typewriter as you are with that gun, you may become rich and famous and known throughout the world.
Okay, so what's becoming clear to me is that Martha has no idea how to parent. Because, like, I just think of my own position. Like, that is something I could totally see my mother doing. Like, finding pot in my bedroom and being like, have you tried Pepsi? And you're just like, get out of here. Like, you have a gun. I mean, I'm not saying you should have a gun, but if you have a gun, who's getting walked back by a typewriter?
I mean, look, guns are far more fun than typewriters.
You know what he should have done is just shot the typewriter.
Yeah. Let her know who's boss. Let her know
Dave,
what's up.
Let her know. Let her know who's boss. Typewriters have a lot of letters.
I got it. I was just sad. I was having a sad moment.
Oh, I thought maybe you froze, but you didn't move your face.
It was sadness.
Oh.
I was reevaluating my life and the choices I've made.
Oh, bud, come on. Let's talk off air. I feel the same way.
So Oliver starts writing. He wrote for a small newsletter, and then once in a while the stories that were in there would get picked up and printed in Virginia newspapers. And he starts writing more and more, and he's writing stories.
Boy, so this worked. So she gave him
yeah.
a typewriter. Okay,
It worked.
I guess he's not a Gareth.
He had a really big imagination. When there wasn't a lot going on, and he didn't have like true life stories to pick from, he would just start making stuff up.
Interesting. Okay.
At 15, he got a young lady in the area pregnant, and her father demanded that they get married.
What?
So
this is. I mean, I love when someone makes a bad decision Sunday. Like you're just like, you know what else it needs? You need to be married. It's like, what? No, that will not help.
So he gets married, and
At
then
15.
Yeah, that's back then. That's not a crazy.
It's just
whatever. It's not great. So, but then after they get married, a little while after, she confesses that the kid's not his.
Oh shit! Wow.
So he gets the marriage annulled, and he's still in high school. And after high school, he gets a job.
What's the matter, Oliver? Just stressed over my annulment. You're 17. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
After high school, he gets a job working for a coal magnate, Rufus Ayers. Now, there are some biographies that have been written about Oliver over the years. So every once in a while, I'll just say it from a biography of Oliver. So from a biography of Oliver, he, quote, compensated for his youth and 5'6" stature by adopting the appearance of a serious young executive. Ramrod straight posture, impeccable double-breasted suits, immaculately pressed white shirts, conservative bow ties, and white handkerchiefs neatly posed in the breast pocket.
Okay. So he just started dressing the part.
He's a tiny, fancy guy.
He's a tiny...
Wow. He started dressing the part. You are correct.
It's amazing that his middle name is Napoleon.
So he starts writing stories in which he's writing stories about himself doing stuff, and in the stories he is always very incredibly honest and very trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. And these are not writings of fiction. These are... Okay, sure. Okay.
I'm not one to judge.
Okay.
Or say, I've never judged anyone, so I'm not going to start now.
You judged me on this show today.
So, I'm going to ignore that nonsense. So Ayers is impressed with Oliver, and he promotes him after 6 months to clerk in a coal mine in Richmond.
Okay.
And then one day, a cashier at the local bank, which is owned by Ayers, quote, went on a bender one weekend.
Sure.
So the cashier is plowed, and he takes his gun out. He's at a hotel. He takes his gun out. And he drops it, and the gun goes off. And it shoots and kills a black bellboy in the hotel.
Okay.
So Oliver rushes over, and he says he interviewed the only eyewitness who was there, who said that's what happened. The gun fell down. And then Oliver goes to the bank, because the guy was a cashier, which is a weird move.
So the man is back at the bank on Monday like, man, did I have a hell of a weekend. I killed a guy when I dropped a gun. No.
No. Oliver goes to the shooting.
Oh, okay.
Here's what happened, and then goes to the bank.
Right.
So it's an interesting move. Usually if there's a shooting, you don't go, I got to check the bank.
Right.
But he does.
Okay.
And for some reason, the cashier left the doors unlocked as well as the vault unlocked. Oliver wrote that the bank was a mess inside, quote, the money scattered around as if a cyclone hit.
Okay. What's going on? So the bank, I mean, are we just in the middle of like a banker meltdown? Worse than 2008?
Well, he tells Ayers what went down, but that no money was stolen.
Wait, so sorry, just to be clear, sorry. So Oliver goes to the bank. The bank is totally open, the vault is open, there's money all over the place, and the banker is not there?
Well, the banker shot the guy in the hotel.
Right. So, okay, so there's just no one at the bank.
That's right.
And there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm very clear. There is an vaulted open bank.
That's right.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Everything seems fine.
So he wires Ayers, and he tells him what happened and that no money was stolen. And Oliver's biographers would write, quote, he faithfully counted the money, balanced the books, and discovered that not a cent was missing. And then he made sure everybody knew he didn't take any money. And then Ayers was like, man, this guy's awesome. And he promoted him to be a manager of a coal mine in his operation.
Okay, because he allegedly went into the bank, balanced the bad books, I guess.
And there's money all over the floor.
Yes, and he reorganized it. He had a montage at the bank of fixing it.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, the New York Times reviewed a biography in which the story was in and concluded Oliver had covered up a murder. And he had told the coroner it was accidental, and he paid for the bellboy's burial, and he apparently did it to get a job promotion.
Okay. I had been very baffled for a second. Right. Okay. So he just, again, like you were sort of alluded to earlier, he just kind of inflates himself.
Yeah, and he's doing it for his own benefit, right?
Right.
It was like his way of getting a job promotion. That was his way of showing that he was a good
He's
employee.
a good guy, good charactered employee. Right. Okay.
That's right. And he's only 19 years old.
Sure. Right. Of course not. He's been annulled twice.
Oliver's biography then says he kicked around for a while doing different jobs, but he actually married someone at this time. So he leaves that out of his biography. And he married Edith Whitman on June 17th, 1903. Newspapers reported he was married in Tazewell. They have a daughter in 1905. The family moved to Alabama for a few months until Oliver sent the family back to Virginia to live with Edith's dad.
Okay.
So he's down in Alabama alone. He gets into the lumber business, and then in his spare time, he would just fuck sex workers, quote, throughout the South.
Wow. So he just loved wood.
It's a hobby situation.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I like to build and fuck.
The marriage it's a bad marriage.
Yeah.
At one point, he went to Virginia, took the daughter without the mom knowing, left the daughter with his mom, and then told his wife that she'd never see her daughter again.
Well, there's some flags emerging here.
Have you ever? I mean, that's just a classic fight. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that so
That's a
many
good
times.
tactic. Yeah, I remember I remember you told me a couple times that you told Heather that Finn was missing and she'd never see him again just to get what
Yeah.
you wanted.
Well, I was like, I wanted to go to a ball game, and she was like, I don't want to go to a ball game.
Well, and then there was the other one where you told me she wouldn't let you order off the kids menu.
That's right.
And then so you said you went away for about a week and you told her.
Look, people who aren't married don't get this. Marriage is hard.
Because I'll say as an outsider who's never been married, it just sounds crazy.
No, it's just hard work. It's just got to put in the work.
Yeah, I know, and it just sort of seems like this is outside of the work because it's like, you're insinuating that, I just think that's just so much stress and pain for you.
No,
your spouse.
it's the work of marriage. It's the kind of stuff that eventually brings you closer.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't. Again, I've never been married, so I don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know.
Because if I did that to if I was dating a girl who had a kid, and I did that, I think that would be bad. But again, I've never.
Dating's not the same.
It's different. It's different. It's different. 100%. It's different.
I guarantee you, 80% of our listeners do fake kidnappings with their wives and or husbands or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So he also, on January 24th, 1908, he wrote Edith a letter, quote, I am leaving the country where you'll never bother me. You can only communicate with me through my father and not unless he thinks best. He wasn't leaving the country. That was just a letter he wrote to his wife.
But also, I know he's 19, but you have the appearance of a grown-up. Your letter being like, well, if you want to talk to me, you've got to go through Daddy. How's that for being a grown?
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, he is 19, but this is, even for a 19-year-old, this is not, I would say, not great behavior.
He's had an annulment.
Yeah. So Edith somehow got the child back. She files for divorce.
On what grounds?
She says that he's violent, disrespectful, and cruel.
Who?
Yeah.
Huh.
They go to divorce court. He doesn't show up. His friends and his coworkers come and just describe how he's just having sex with sex workers up and down Alabama.
I'd still like to testify, Your Honor.
So she gets divorce granted. He didn't come because he was super busy.
Oh no, Dave! I believe he did come.
So this is. He's got kind of a racket going. So he's got this lumber business that he started with another guy.
Okay.
And he starts going around and getting lumber on credit from suppliers. And he gets about $20,000 worth of lumber. And then he goes and he sells the lumber for any price he's offered. So even if it's way below what he paid, he just sells it.
Right. But Dave, is he Is he creating a lumber bubble? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it is kind of a lumber bubble.
He's making a lumble?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's not paying back any of the suppliers. So he's basically just taking wood from people and selling it and keeping the money.
Right. He's like Robin Hood.
That's right. And the other lumber companies are just taking a hit because no one's buying their lumber. His partner gets freaked out and sells his shares and bails on the company. And then word gets out that Oliver is committing, I guess, lumber fraud is what we...
Sure.
That's what we call it.
It's called a lumber racket.
And now every competing lumberman in the area wants a piece of Oliver. So in September, he goes on the run. And now newspapers, his old partner was named Acree. So newspapers are reporting it, and they're calling the search the Acree Hill sensation.
Okay. I'm sure Acree was like, awesome, thank you for including me in the headline.
It sounds like a great band.
Yeah.
So
it really does.
Arrest warrants go out. The Postal Service starts investigating him for mail fraud. And he just fucking hits the road, and he ends up in Washington, D.C. Starts using a new name. He's got a whole new life story. This
is going to play great in D.C.
Yes, you could do this easily.
He's going to be the president.
So he is now a car expert and a car salesman.
Okay, sure.
He starts going by his middle name, so now he's Napoleon Hill as opposed to Oliver Hill. Yeah, he's going by Napoleon.
And Napoleon was not too far removed from this time, right?
Yeah, Napoleon. Yeah, no, that's I think that's why he was named Napoleon.
Is that weird?
Well, it depends what your allegiances are. You know,
isn't it weird for an American?
Well, if you don't like the English, why not? Or if you don't, you know what I mean? You don't like the Germans.
Yeah, I guess, but sure. But there's other How about John Wayne? That's a middle name.
That's a really good middle name. That racist old.
What?
So,
one article. Get over it. Other than that, he was a humanitarian.
So he would later say this is the time that he met Andrew Carnegie.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
He met Andrew in. He said he met Andrew in his New York mansion. He went there, and Carnegie invited him in. And Carnegie sat him down and told him his principles of achievement, his mastermind. Carnegie told him his principles of achievement, his mastermind alliance, and his ultimate secrets to financial success.
Okay, and this is all from our boy Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Napoleon's version. So then Carnegie, after he tells him all his secrets of how his all of his, I guess, trade secrets of how to become a really...
Oh, there's got to be a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So then he introduces Napoleon to all the most powerful rich guys in the country so Napoleon could interview them to learn how they had become successful.
I understand that we're potentially on a leap here, but are we saying that this is because this is nothing to do with writing? I mean, he's a car guy at this point, right? Or he's moonlighting as a writer?
This is so he can learn.
Okay.
It's just Carnegie showing him the ropes.
Okay, so he very simply met up with Andrew Carnegie, and Carnegie was just like, let me impart all the things that I've learned, and why don't you meet everyone else who's rich and successful and pick their brains, my little car friend?
Yes. He's giving him the keys to the castle, the secrets, all of the skills.
Okay.
So yeah, he's gonna introduce him to the most powerful rich guys in the world, who then he would interview and discuss. And Carnegie told Napoleon it would take him 20 years to learn all the secrets of how to become a successful businessman. So it's a long-term venture that he's on.
Sure.
He's now really in it.
Sure.
So he travels the country and he goes around meeting people like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford.
Okay.
Now, at one point in his book, Napoleon said he asked Carnegie how people could control their wheel of fortune.
Get Pat's agent.
Pretty standard question to ask someone.
Sure. How does one control their wheel of fortune?
And Carnegie said, quote, "First of all, to control the wheel of fortune, one must understand, master, and apply the 17 principles of achievement.
Simple
I have already
acronyms
named
should follow.
5 of these principles, and I might here suggest that these 5, if properly applied, will carry one a long way on the road towards success in any calling."
Okay.
So Carnegie sounds just
very
cool.
giving.
He's got a,
Very giving.
got a list of 17 things, because that's what Carnegie did. He came up with a list of 17 things.
Yeah, that's why we know the Carnegie 17.
Right. So obviously none of this is true.
What?
Napoleon did not meet Carnegie. He did not even leave Washington, D.C. and go to work. He was just hiding in Washington, D.C. from all the people who wanted him.
Okay.
But in December, he joined the Automobile Club of Washington. And then a couple months later, he started the Automobile College of Washington and made himself president.
Well, Dave, and I understand that the ascension to president now doesn't matter in any sequence of experience, but is it strange to immerse yourself in the world of cars for roughly 2 months and then decide that you can open Car University?
I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting choice. I don't know back then how rudimentary cars were, but I imagine in a couple months you could learn how to take one apart and put it together.
There were still people who knew more.
Oh, sure, most.
Yeah, right. Okay. So Napoleon Hill has started Car University.
That's right. He puts ads in papers saying that one could become an expert in assembling cars in 6 weeks, and a graduate of his college could make up to $200, which is about $5,000 a week.
Okay. Sounds pretty good. Sounds a little too good.
So he started with 2 other partners, but very quickly the other partners bailed.
They're called partners in that business, correct?
That's right.
Thank you.
It turned out to not be so much of a college. What happened was Napoleon had made a deal with the Carter Motor Corporation to build their cars. So students were actually...
Shut the fuck... Dude, he's like Nathan for Ewing this.
So students are actually just unpaid laborers. Actually, they're paying to be laborers to build cars for free.
Genius.
For a company that's then selling them. And he's taking all the money. He's taking money from people,
from students,
to learn how to build cars,
to build cars for him.
Then he's taking and getting money for the cars being built.
And then the people getting these cars are like, "Are you sure this is built properly?" A lot of these, the rear view mirrors in the engine, the tailpipes in the back seat, the muffler's the steering wheel. Look, sir, a car's a car.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fucking crazy.
You know, you're getting pretty mad at me for a guy who hasn't really taught me how to do this yet. I'm just telling you, we have fucking deadlines on your diploma. I want to help you. I'm trying to reach you. This is like a Dangerous Minds, but with cars.
Nobody's going home tonight. We got 15 cars to build.
What the fuck are you talking about? There's 9 of us.
Oh, sorry. Did you not want to learn how to build cars? Did you not come here to learn? This is a classroom.
The first thing you said to me when I met you was, "Why isn't that car done?" I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're at college.
Yeah, well, someone needs to teach me and stop yelling at me for not building cars fast enough. Isn't this a program?
Okay, everybody else want to listen to me right now? This guy over here, Frank has a D. Right now.
For? I'm not learning.
He has a D for bad attitude, for not car building, for having a bad attitude about not car building.
Sorry, sir. A lot of us are having trouble building the cars. Not to speak up or be rude, but it just doesn't seem like we know what we're doing yet. And someone should teach us.
Okay. So you got the directions with the car, right? In the box there was directions.
Yeah, but it's like a car.
There's a little guy with a screwdriver, and then it tells you which screw to use. Right?
Yeah, but a lot of these screws look the exact same. I'm just saying. I mean, couldn't I do this at home? I guess.
Okay, Bill has a D.
What?
Bill's got a D. Frank's got a D. Who else wants to?
Third.
Who else?
Third. I'm having a fantastic time.
This guy. You know what I call him? I call him Straight A Jimmy. And you know why? Because Straight A Jimmy comes here and he builds cars and he shuts his goddamn mouth.
My name is actually Pat. So.
Straight A Jimmy shuts his goddamn mouth and he builds cars. And that's what a really good student does. The rest of you guys, why didn't you go to complaint college? You know why you didn't go to complaint college? Because you already have a degree in that. That's why.
Yeah, well, maybe somebody could teach us, at Complaint University, maybe someone teaches you how to complain, you know? But you don't just walk into a college and learn how to build a car, you asshole. But again, to be clear, this is Frank.
Yeah, no, I'm aware it's Frank. Frank is an ex-student here at the Automobile College of Washington.
Well, dude, I would ask for a ride home, but it looks like you don't have any fucking clue how to build a car. So, I'm out of here. Who's coming with me?
I'm coming with you. It's me from before, too.
Who are you?
I'm the weird guy from before. I was the second guy.
Well, what's your name?
The name that I have?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you anymore. I think as a teacher, you should know that.
Okay. That's fair.
You know?
And then I'm ready to go, too. To be clear, my name is Pat. That's for sure.
Pat?
Yeah, I said that. And then you told me that I should leave. Or no, you said that I was something Jimmy.
Straight A Jimmy.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted a really good transcript, but I guess not. All right, go ahead and get out of here. I got a new class coming in tomorrow. I don't need you guys.
Okay.
I'll just call the Carter car. I'll just tell the Carter car company that they
what
can't
car
get the cars.
company?
No, don't worry about it. This is.
What do you mean? Don't worry about it.
It's teacher talk.
Are you making us build cars for a goddamn company?
You know, I'm in a teacher's lounge right now. I'd appreciate if you guys just took off and got a teacher's
There's
lounge.
one room in this building.
I'm supposed to be in the lounge. Thank you, gentlemen. So, maybe the longest thing we've ever done. Now, so Napoleon meets Florence Horner in 1910. She's in high school. She's from a wealthy family. And 3 months later, they get married.
Okie dokie.
The week after she gets out of high school. Just as you're supposed to do.
Boy, well, not a creep move at all, right? They don't make a lot of graduation nuptial cards.
A gentleman waits until his lady graduates before he marries.
Yeah, a week. Well, now that she's firm in the world of adulthood, I think it's right if I take her.
So he's 27. This is his third marriage.
Ugh.
And while Napoleon is on his honeymoon, his business partners and suppliers start bailing on him. The Washington Post reported one business partner was accusing Napoleon of stealing a car and wanting the college put into receivership.
What does receivership mean?
It's like bankruptcy when
that's what
someone
I
else.
thought,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the
Carter Car Company then goes bankrupt in 1912, and the writer of the article this is based on, Matt Novak, think this could have something to do with the way the cars are being built by people who don't know how to build cars.
I don't think that's true. That's impossible. It's just like every car is the chitty chitty bang bang car.
But Napoleon does not shut down the college.
No, of course not.
He changes the focus. So instead of teaching students how to build cars, they're now taught how to sell them.
Okay. There is a car salesman college?
Well, now there is.
What is that? I mean, what is that? Like, I can't even imagine the constant negotiation.
It's really bad.
Yeah. So I want you guys to get that in by Thursday at 1 p.m. Sir, if I may, I was thinking that it might make more sense if we were to maybe split that over 3 days, just 3 installments. of giving you a little bit of each paper. Sir, I can actually do that, and I can do that in 2 papers. I can do that over Wednesday and Thursday. All right, guys, it's non-negotiable. I'm liking what I'm hearing. What's your credit like, sir? It's fantastic. Well, do you mind if I run it? Well, I'm not crazy about it. Come into this office real quick. Let me introduce you to Barbara. Hi, thanks so much. They call me the closer. I don't know why. Oh, come on. I'm the teacher of this goddamn school. So what we're looking for is to give you 5 different installments of getting this paper by Thursday. 5? You guys just said 2. Someone else said 1. No, listen, this is what we're after. That's right. Now, can I just get a credit card or some family history from you real quick?
So, on April 11th, 1912, Motor World magazine published an article about the Automobile College. It was titled, Pointing the Easy Route to Get-Rich-Quick Land. And it broke down the ways the college was a grift. The plan for students to make $5K a year was that the students were
$5K a
considered
week,
sales
right?
agents. They were just considered sales agents. So that's
Right.
that's how you can make $5,000 a year is to actually sell cars.
All right. Or, I made a lot of money in making a fake college. That's another route you guys can go.
They also would get $3 a head for every new student they brought in. So it's like Amway. It's
Yeah,
set up
yeah.
Amway the college. On November 11th, 1912, Napoleon and Florence had a baby. He was a baby boy. He was deaf and he had no ears.
Oh, my God. You could have gone with the first one, and I would have assumed.
From Napoleon's official biography, quote, in the years to come, despite intense fighting with both family and school teachers, Napoleon would never allow the boy to learn sign language. He was determined to single-handedly teach his deaf son to speak and even to hear.
See, now that's what happens when you're able to open a bullshit car college where eventually you're teaching car salesmanship. You just believe too much, and you should. You have every right to believe that you walk on water. But the idea that you're going to, that essentially obviously removes the child's ability to communicate completely, which is cool. So, cool dad,
Yeah.
check.
So
My boy's going to have the biggest ears this town's ever seen. Ain't that right, son? Baby steps.
The Automobile College shut its doors in 1912, and soon after, Napoleon decided he wanted more, and Chicago was the place to go. So Florence's family actually got him work at LaSalle Extension University through a connection, and after arriving, he quickly printed up stationery. Quote, Napoleon Hill, attorney at law, 2715 Michigan Avenue, Chicago. Now, he's obviously never gone to law school.
Sure.
He has no legal experience.
Right.
But he was just like, I'm here, I might as well do this.
Yeah, but Dave, you had letterhead. And in a lot of ways, isn't that everything?
Yeah. So this is just the beginning of a bunch of nonsense. He buys a candy store with some other people. That falls apart. He opens the George Washington Institute, which is a college to teach students in the principles of success and self-confidence.
He's the guy. He's 100% the guy.
He is.
100% the guy to teach self-confidence.
He was soon accused of fraud, though.
What?
Yeah, I know. In 1917, he told the newspaper he was going to sue a railroad because lighting in passenger cars was harming his eyesight. Quote, I have been using the IC train less than 2 months, yet I have been compelled to use glasses for the first time in my life.
So this is the sort of person who walks into a Walgreens without a mask and wants a fight, right?
Yes, that's exactly what he is.
This sort of person is like, I know you don't understand. I am unable. I get corona from the mask. Like, I literally have a doctor who says that I will get corona if I wear a mask. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So investigators looked into the George Washington Institute for selling bullshit stock. It turns out he had way overvalued the school when he starts selling or giving out stock. And so arrest warrants are issued for him. I mean, basically, he said the school is worth $100,000, but it's only worth $1,200.
Okay.
So it's a big difference.
Bit of a difference.
So nothing. He's arrested. Arrest warrants are issued for him. Nothing is known about the result of the charges or if he had to pay back the students or anything. There's just a lot of cases that happen here where he's arrested, and then it just kind of drifts away.
Okay.
Florence has their third kid in October, and this is when Napoleon would later report that President Woodrow Wilson came to him to ask for his help with World War I.
Okay, wait. And I mean, I know it's bullshit, but even in his bullshit, it's based on what? That he's
That
Just-
he can.
just
he's
gets stuff
well,
done,
he's
I
got-
guess?
He runs the college. Of
That he's got the
confidence.
goods? Sure, yeah. Okay.
Wilson offered to pay him a lot of money, but Napoleon
Sure.
refused any payment. It was for his country.
Dave, this guy he's not after money. This is not a guy who's after this. He doesn't do this for cash. To be honest, it's a little offensive that President Woodrow Wilson would even try to give him money. I mean, this
Yeah.
is a man whose heart bleeds red, white, and blue. I mean,
That's right.
the pulse in his vein is that of the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, he is patriotism personified.
Yeah. So now, what does Wilson want? What is he doing? Well, we don't really know.
Sure.
We just know that he wanted Napoleon involved in his administration. So
And again, winners like winners.
that's right. So Napoleon said he made propaganda for Wilson to fire up Americans working to make weapons for the war, and then he was there in the Oval Office the day when President Wilson got word that the Germans were surrendering.
The Germans are surrendering. Napoleon, what's a good battle plan?
So Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States of America, then asked Napoleon for some tips on what to put in the terms to end World War I. And Napoleon told him, quote, "I would ask whether the request for an armistice has been made on behalf of the German people or the German warlords." And President Wilson said, quote, "Of course."
Yeah, of course. Bingo. There we go. Why not also just, tell a bunch of guys that they're just going to go to soldier camp and then drop them off in the war?
Obviously, none of this happened.
What?
He came up with it for a future biography. Now, the problem with this account is that Napoleon had already written about what he did on Armistice Day in something called Napoleon's Hill's magazine. Quote,
Well, you got to be careful.
quote, "Like most other people, I became as drunk with enthusiasm and joy that day as any man ever did on wine. I was practically penniless, but I was happy to know that the slaughter was over and the reason about to spread its beneficent wings over the earth once more."
Wow. Right.
So,
Well,
he
a
was
guy
just
like this
out.
can be two places.
Yep. In 1918, Napoleon started Hill's Golden Rule magazine.
Finally.
He got involved in a stock selling scheme for an oil company that was owned by a Texas couple. So
He's almost like a time-traveling Lenny Dykstra, it feels like.
So he would put ads in his magazine to boost their stock and get people to buy their stock. And this led to Napoleon being charged with fraudulent advertising.
Right.
It turns out he had started a bunch of magazines over the years, and he used them to get word out about whatever he wanted.
Shouldn't have given him that typewriter. Let him stick with the gun.
He's like a dude who started a bunch of blogs.
Yeah,
or a bunch
right.
of Twitter accounts, right?
Or no, he starts a ton of profiles, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then he talks to it, and then he writes to himself, and he's like, "Dude, everything you're doing is unbelievable." And he's like, "Thanks, man, but I don't do it for the accolades." And then someone's like, "He's both people."
Now, the Golden Rule of Golden Rule magazine was something he was always going to preach. Loosely a version of it, it's a karma type thing where if you help others, good stuff comes back to you. A lot of times that good stuff is money.
Sure. And that's the code. That's the code he's lived by.
That's right. So Napoleon soon realized he could get his name in the press by giving awards for the Golden Rule.
Okay.
So the Golden Rule Medal, the Golden Rule Award.
Sure.
In 1922, he gave a Golden Rule Medal to a chiropractor who just beat out Woodrow Wilson after 150,000 magazine subscribers voted.
Wow.
So, but that's pretty common. So there's 150,000 magazine subscribers around the country, and there's some names on there, but
Sure.
they choose a local chiropractor over the president of the United States.
Yeah, sure. Right. And Dave, was the chiropractor close to, in proximity to where Napoleon was?
Yes, he was in the same city.
Oh, that's interesting. That's so interesting because I wouldn't have guessed that. I mean, and for a chiropractor, that has to be really exciting. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Here you are, a chiropractor, and you've beaten out the president. I mean,
Yeah, big deal.
that's huge. Yeah, yeah.
You could almost like frame that and put it up in your office and tell people that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, but again, my guess is nobody's going to need that.
No, I don't think so. So the press fell for it and ran with the story. It was printed all over the U.S. There are pictures of Napoleon handing out the Golden Rule Awards. That would keep happening over and over again. In 1922, Napoleon
Like a
and another
bullshit Willy Wonka.
man... Yes. In 1922, Napoleon and another man started the Intra-Wall Correspondence School. So
Okay.
it's a charity.
Sure,
And
I'm sure it is.
It's to educate prisoners in Ohio prisons to help them live a decent life when they get out.
Right, of course.
He also pushed to get one specific Ohio inmate released. He was a check forger, and it worked. And the inmate got out and then quickly began running the charity. Turns out the whole charity was the forger's idea.
Well, okay.
But
It's weird. I mean, it's curious, you know, for that to be your first hire. Oh, by the way, can we get that forgery guy that you have locked up for forgery? I want him to be involved in my business.
So, I mean, Napoleon just runs with it. In late 1923, articles were written about Napoleon, his debts, and all the people who were trying to find him. Using the charity to fill his pockets was covered in the articles. At the time, he was touring the country seeking charity donations. Novak wrote, quote, his constant movement around the country was not necessarily out of wanderlust, of course, but rather to stay one step ahead of the law.
Right.
An article about him bilking churches and even getting kids to pitch in was written.
Wow. This guy, I mean, he's learned no lessons, so there's no bottom.
Well, there's no lesson learned. And then, I mean, he's going to churches and getting like $1,000 at a church and then just living off of it.
Right.
Like it's just free money.
Yeah. I'd rather look at it like God's money. If that's okay. Because he needs it.
So, that's right, he does.
Because it's a guy. It's a guy, and he lives in a cloud. Go ahead.
That's right. So he's doing this all over the country. Another article covered how the prison had not received a penny. And so when that comes out, Napoleon then says, it's not me, the warden and the prison chaplain are corrupt.
Right.
And he also blamed it on the check forger.
Wow. Just
Who's running it in Ohio, and then the check forger is sent back to jail.
no allegiance or alliance in any way. Just a bus-tossing little warmonger.
So now he's also this whole time he's doing the interviews that Carnegie set up, and he says these are ongoing. There's no evidence that any art interview ever happened, except there is one photo of Napoleon with Thomas Edison.
Oh, okay. Weird.
And Edison is looking at the camera, and Napoleon is turned sideways looking at Edison.
So, like, they were having a good conversation. So, like, mid natural chat.
It looks like they were talking for a second, and then someone yelled, "Hey, Edison!" And Edison turned and looked, and then someone snapped a photo.
Can I relate it to Ivanka whenever she goes to any head of state thing?
Oh, yeah.
And she just sort of is like, hey, can I be in the picture while I pretend to talk? We're pretending to talk.
Yes.
Watermelon, 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 watermelon by Angela Merkel, watermelon, Justin Trudeau, watermelon, watermelon.
In December 1923, the Specialty Salesman magazine learned how the photo had happened. Quote, Hill sent a press Hill sent a press agent over to announce that Mr. Hill, one of the leading magazine writers, wished to attend the Edison Convention of Dealers. Of course, he was allowed because he was a magazine writer. And then when he was there, he asked Edison to pose with him, a request he could hardly refuse. At that point, he handed Edison a Golden Rule medal, and, quote, Edison returned the medal without comment.
Yeah. Finally, how you're supposed to react. Mr. Edison, I know you've won many things and have had more patents granted than anyone in history, but here's your golden diploma from the School of Horsecock.
Napoleon now had a photo, though, that he could use, and he sent it out with...
I like that is like going to prove anything. As you can see, clearly I met with Carnegie, and I'm on the investigative path of 17 like-minded geniuses. Here's a picture of me and Edison.
He built a whole story around it, and he would send it out with the leading line, the lead two of America's most famous men. So,
dude, how much would he have crushed Instagram?
Oh.
I mean, this dude would have slaughtered Instagram.
Oh, he's Fat Jew all the way. He's that guy that just...
perfect, yeah.
Yeah, just steals and fucks people over.
And just is like in places where it's like, hey, look where I am.
Yeah.
Big hashtagger, I guess.
So he had no other photos or proof of any other men that he met because he said they were all burned in a fire.
Yes, you don't understand. They burned in the great fire of bullshit.
And my girlfriend is in Canada. I tell you, I have a girlfriend in Canada.
She's great. I've been in her. Come on, look at the letters. It's not me writing left-handed.
So, in 1928, Napoleon tracks down publisher Andrew Pelton. Now, Pelton published self-help books from the New Thought movement, which is what Napoleon was part of.
Okay.
The main idea of the New Thought movement was that, quote, ideas and thoughts have direct and material actions upon the world.
Sure, so... thoughts have meaning, I guess, is the movement?
Well, you could turn your thoughts into
reality.
Rewards. You know,
okay,
you can,
sure.
Using your mind, you can become successful.
Right. I like how this was not a known fact.
So Pelton said he would publish the book.
Okay.
Law of Success was released into the world. It contained all the interviews with famous men Napoleon had conducted. Mm-hmm. So he's got all this stuff about how he hangs out and talks to all these great men, and then how he did it and how they did it, and it's just all wrapped up in this sort of bullshit theory of like you can make what you want.
Right. Happen. Look at me. I made it all up. I mean, I made it. So
it sells. Royalty money starts coming in, and then it really starts coming in 1929. He starts making around $35,000 a month in today's money. He buys a Rolls Royce, a huge house with 600 acres in the Catskills. He's spending more money than his royalties.
Well, and 1929 is a great time to be on a spend spree.
That's right. He bought an estate with a bunch of other investors with the idea that they would turn it into the, quote, world's first university-sized success school.
The what? I mean, it's like, it is true. The more words, the harder it is to track. But I still know there's no substance. What is the nonsense called?
Oh, it's so great. World's first university-sized success school.
So it's woofers.
It's that's right.
Okay. Were other institutions like, excuse me, that feels like infringing upon what we do? No, but we're going to like breed success.
Well, we do that. We're Harvard. We do.
I understand, but this is different. We're going to like preach it, and we want people to have a success.
Well, we don't say it, but that's
exactly.
What our thing
you don't
is.
say it. That's the thing. You don't say it. You don't say it, but we said it, huh? It's weird how Harvard's full of all these smart people, and yet you guys didn't say it. And gosh, I did say it. So, gosh, what does that make me? I guess that makes me smarter than Harvard, doesn't it? Because I said it. Stupid. By the way, I just wanted to give you a Golden Rule diploma. This is 100% bullion.
Wow, thank you.
This is 100%, it's what we call bendable bullion. It's a new product we're working on. We've actually figured out a way to make bullion bendable, and we figured out a way to make silver into water parks. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. I know Harvard does a lot of cool stuff, too. We got a lot of stuff cooking here. We made birthday cake that flies.
This doesn't sound like a success school.
This is the sort of stuff that was, again, Harvard, I'm not asking you to take our idea, but it sounds like you're just not willing to keep up. I mean, do you guys even have floating toilets?
No, what? No, I don't.
If someone dies on your campus, are they dead forever?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that's, again, another difference. We don't have that at our school. If someone passes away at our school, we just bring them back to life.
So we're shutting down Harvard because of this conversation.
That's interesting. Well, nobody likes a quitter. Well, if you're not doing anything, you can come over to my school and learn how to open an actual university. Yeah.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
We have a dolphin man, and we also now have... Yeah, no, we do. And we're the first school that has made fingernails for police cars. Now they have human fingernails on them. So it's easier to get into places at barricades and whatnot. But anyway, I love what you guys are doing. So
thank you.
All right. We'll see you later. Oh, I almost forgot. I have a little something for you in my pocket.
What?
It's my middle finger. Yes, I also invented that the other day. When I was just sitting around, I decided a new thing I'm going to do is tell people I have one more thing to show them, pull out my middle finger, and look at the look on your dumb face. All right. Ta-ta!
Yeah. Bye.
I stole a bunch of pencils.
Bye. So Francis and the boys come to the university, and so Napoleon goes on tour.
Sure. Of course. Makes sense.
And then Wall Street crashes.
Oh.
Great Depression comes. A few months later, the house
Isn't
is
it
in
weird how
foreclosure.
the stock market used to reflect the economy?
Oh, that's weird.
That is a strange thing.
Huh. A few months later, the house is in foreclosure. Florence moves back to West Virginia, and Napoleon has an office in New York, and he stays there working on his next book, which is called The Magic Ladder to Success.
Oh, God.
And when that comes out, his biographers called it, quote, stillborn.
Oh, boy. Good Lord.
Which is not a good term for a book.
No, I've never heard it.
So then Napoleon decides to get into movies. He tried... He has an idea. He wants to get high school kids to come up with a way to adapt the law of success into a film. Mm-hmm. Right?
So he's looking for a free crew.
Well, what he wants is actually to all these kids to compete for the prize of whoever has the best idea. But what it really is he just is trying to figure out a way to get all the kids to buy his book.
Oh, wow. Even weirder, honestly. Like, what a weird little...
Yeah. He ends up producing a Mormon movie, and when the Mormon movie is in production, investors...
Is he stillborn again?
When the movie's in production, the investors were asking for the production company to be put into receivership. So while he's shooting it, people are like, shut it down.
Okay, that's a good sign, though, right?
Yeah.
And again, this film is about climbing the ladder to success in some way?
No, it was just all Mormon. It was pure Mormon
It's just
stuff.
climbing the ladder to God. Okay.
And it's a huge hit in Utah, but nowhere else, obviously. So he goes back he starts doing different magazines and finding people to invest, going from city to city, doing scheme after scheme. Now, later, he would claim this is when FDR asked him to help get Americans more confident about the economy again.
Sure, right. He's the guy. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I mean, Wilson probably recommended him.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is weird because Napoleon is actually a huge conservative, but he said his ideas made their way into FDR's New Deal.
Sure.
Oh, and he also said he came up with the phrase, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself."
Oh, my God. This guy, and by the way, that I mean, I said it, and someone wrote it down. I don't even remember really saying it, but I definitely said it. And in a way, Dave, he's lived his life by that mantra that he didn't come up with.
That's right. So in 1935, Florence had finally had it, and she filed for divorce. He still goes out and he's doing touring and speaking, and the next year he's speaking in Knoxville, and afterwards, Rosa Lee Beeland introduced herself to him. And they chatted, and then they agreed to meet again the next day. And Rosa Lee describes the magic. Quote, "When I arrived, he met me at the elevator, escorted me to his study, and without inviting me to be seated, started immediately to tell me his story. We talked for more than 5 hours. We compared notes and spoke very plainly and frankly. Before I left, we were engaged."
Oh, my God. What the fuck? Honest to God, this is the guy to open a car-selling university.
It really is.
She was like, so if I just pay $215 a month and a down payment, then I can be with you for the rest of my life. Wow. Is this your new girl? I'm leasing her.
So they do a prenup, and the idea was to protect the royalty money from people he had swindled over the years and Florence. So he, in the prenup, signs over all of his book royalties to Rosa Lee.
Okay.
They get married very quickly, and together they start working on his next book, which would be called Think and Grow Rich. But they have no money, so they go to New York.
But has he read his book? He should read his book.
No.
He should read all his books.
Yeah. So they have no money, so they go to live with one of his sons, the only son who will talk to him, Blair, and his wife, who live in Hell's Kitchen in New York.
Okay.
But while they're there, he's verbally abusive to his daughter-in-law, so she leaves.
Dave, if you're in Hell's Kitchen, you're supposed to be verbally abusive.
I agree.
That's the premise of the show.
So she leaves and goes back to West Virginia, and then a few days later, Blair follows her down there. But before Blair goes, he loans his dad $300.
Okay.
So Napoleon and Rosa Lee are now free to work, have money to get by without the annoying couple who actually lives in the apartment bothering them.
Right. Great. Perfect.
So she's really good at organizing his thoughts and stuff into a book form. And then Pelton publishes it in 1937. Now, it's the middle of the Depression. People are really hurting.
Yeah.
And then here comes this book telling them they can get rich using just their thoughts.
Probably pretty enticing.
Yeah, the book's a huge success. People wanted a way out of their desperate state during the Great Depression. And he's saying it would just take positive thinking, visualization, and hard work.
And that's it. Good luck, everybody.
So he's making money again because of the royalties. He starts spending money again. He's buying fancy cars, expensive clothes. He buys a huge Florida estate. Rosa is buying clothes and jewelry. They have a staff at the house. They're spending, again, money faster than it comes in.
Right.
And then, to get a little taste of who Rosa Lee is, out of nowhere, she sends a letter to Blair, taunting him, detailing the rich life they're living. And then Blair responds and demands his $300, and no one replied. It's called family.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's a good dad. Now I'm going out for cigarettes.
By 1939, they're broke. Creditors are sniffing around. She's writing a book on her own called How to Attract Men and Money, while Napoleon tours.
Can you ban someone from writing a book? It is time. It is 100% time.
To get attention to rekindle book sales, they make an announcement. They say they're going to adopt 15 children and would raise them without the terrible parenting that was currently plaguing America.
Oh God, no! This is terrible. This is, I mean, this is like Tiger King shit.
I never saw Tiger King. I can't watch stuff like that.
Dave, it's really, if you like watching animals be tortured, it is
Yeah,
a good,
actually-
easy watch.
I don't.
Oh, you should read my book.
So the Kansas City Star was given an interview, and the Star said they had a housekeeper who had a young daughter, Jean, and Jean wasn't getting, quote, a proper upbringing, so they took her in.
Sure.
Then after that, they decided, well, let's keep doing this, and that's how they came up with the idea to adopt 15 kids between 2 and 5 years old.
Oh my God! What? I mean,
And
what? What? If you were to paint a nightmare for me, I think you just did it. Like, what? Even in the world of bullshit, pick another, angle.
yeah. So besides Jean, they're all supposed to be orphans, but the one rule is that they could not have been living in an orphanage.
That is going to make it okay. What? So what are you? Are you just like flipping over boxes on the street?
Well, it's free-range babies.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. No, they're free range. You can eat their eggs. So the plan is basically to get. Okay, so obviously they're looking for like more polished children.
Well, they really just want attention. They never follow
Right.
through. They're
So
just
they
putting
don't-
the story out there, and of course, everybody reads it. They just want people to remember that they're there to sell books.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay.
James B. Schaefer was born in 1836 in Michigan, and he moved to New York around 1930. And then he founded the Royal Fraternity of the Master Metaphysicians, which is also part of the New Thought movement.
Okay.
Great name.
Yeah. What is the New Thought movement?
So the basic idea was the mind could change everything around it. If you could imagine it, it could become real.
Oh God. So right. So we've just written The Secret 35 times.
Yeah. By the mid-1930s, Schaefer had a huge following and was packing Carnegie Hall every Sunday morning. He had around 10,000 followers.
Wow.
In 1938, the cult bought a 100-room mansion on Long Island, which that got a lot of attention, but people didn't seem that freaked out because they're really not harmful. Then in 1939, the cult announced they wanted to raise an immortal.
All right, I'm good. I think we found our moment. So, so they're just going to live the plot of Ghostbusters 2, essentially?
They unofficially adopted a baby girl who was 5 months old.
Oh, this poor child. They're just going to Dalai Lama her.
This gets a shitload of national attention.
Why, Dave? What about this is huge? We raised an immortal. It's a 5-month-old. She's in charge now.
So they plan to raise the girl with a vegetarian diet and only positive thoughts, which would turn her immortal.
How about a mom?
That's how.
Is that possible? Is that going to help?
Basically, the way this was, anyone could actually become immortal if they just thought hard enough, but they were going to start with a baby and work from there.
Well, just to be safe, make it a lock.
Now that this is out there, a writer, E.J. Kahn Jr., went to the Colts mansion in 1940 and spent 24 hours there to write an article for The New Yorker.
Uh-huh.
He wrote that Think and Get Rich was one of their main texts. Quote, the most revered text, which was written by a member named Napoleon Hill and which many metaphysicians regard as gospel. The book is actually called Think and Grow Rich, but they got it wrong in the... He got it wrong.
He probably didn't know. He was like, I think that was it. I don't remember.
He reported Schaefer went to the 1939-40 World's Fair in New York and demanded officials dig up the Westinghouse time capsule so he could put a paper of baby Jean's footprints in. This had to be done because baby Jean would be the only human alive when it was opened in 6940.
Well, I mean, that part might be true.
That's hard to argue with. Like,
Yeah, that date's way off. I think did they mean 2090?
No, it's 6940. I mean, they're pretty on the date.
Okay,
they're pretty
sure. Okay.
Schaefer also filmed Baby Jean with a movie camera while the reporter watched, and they had the baby in the baby's crib posing with a copy of Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, my God. It's a baby. Like, the book should just be called Think.
Or Grow.
Or Grow. Yeah, Grow.
Schaefer's a guy who believed what he was saying, but he was also super into money and women. Within the cult, there was a secret male society named the Storks.
Oh, God. I don't even want to fucking know.
Cult within a cult. The Storks took care of young unmarried women and their babies. A local archivist in the area, quote, for an extra $500, and you had to be male, and you had to wear a diaper pin on your lapel, you could make layettes and full diapers for unwed mothers.
I don't even want to say what.
Well, he sort of made a diaper party situation within the cult.
He made a diaper department? And there's a diaper department who have special lapel pins.
Yeah. You had to pay $500.
And then they're able, and you pay. Wait, you pay $500 or you get $500?
Yeah, you pay.
You pay $500 to go change diapers.
Yeah, you become a diaper boy for $500.
Is there something more nefarious? There must be. What's the angle?
The angle is it's fucking hot.
Oh my God! Oh, look at that, huh? Boy, he really had to go. He's eating a lot of carrots, huh? All right. Well, I paid for this. Oh, so cool to see.
I mean,
Awesome.
that would be like $9,000 today. Is about what that is to hang out and put diapers on, fold diapers. Okay. Anyway, those are the Storks. So they're
Cool.
Those guys are killing it.
Chill dudes.
And now the cult also ran schemes. Schaefer sold stock options between 100 and 400. Rich people who came seeking some life secret would have valuables go missing while they were there.
Weird.
One woman had 2 rings worth $5,000 go missing, and she told Schaefer, and he said, quote, "Nothing is lost in the infinite. You can think them back in your experience."
Oh, thank God.
So now, Napoleon and Rosalie's marriage is collapsing. He's never home. She thought he was cheating and hired a private investigator. Now, soon after her book, How to Attract Money and Men, was published, she hired a divorce lawyer, and the PI must have confirmed it. While he was traveling, she sold everything that they owned. And so now Napoleon has nothing again.
Okay.
She then went and married the divorce lawyer.
Oh, good Lord. That guy was like, and also, if you want to come over later, we can kind of get over some of the finer detail points. I really think we just want to. I know how hard it is right now.
I'm going to be wearing some really, really small shorts. I think that's it. Just probably shorts.
Oh gosh,
So,
I'm just so
divorce.
broken.
I call them divorce shorts. That's what I call them. But
Yeah,
you know.
divorce. I mean, I would love to come over, but I'm so raw emotionally.
I got a big tub. It's called a divorce tub. It's where you can relax after your divorce.
This is purely just you getting me through my divorce, yeah?
Yeah. No, this is actually what divorce lawyers
Because it would
do.
seem predatory otherwise.
No. This is completely 100% what divorce lawyers. This is part of our job.
I've never been divorced before, so I can't.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Massages,
Massages.
hot tubs.
Hot tubs. I didn't know the tub was hot.
Take off your clothes, just whatever.
Take
happens,
off. Take off your clothes. Okay. So
Yeah, everybody can take off
this
their
is
clothes.
if I go to another attorney, this is the same.
Yeah, this is a divorce. Like, this is going to happen with any divorce attorney. This is just standard Florida
Okay.
law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get you the retainer money, and I'll head over for the hot tub.
Okay, great.
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 Okay,
I can't wait
great.
to be in you.
Just some of the phrasing seems sort of.
Yeah, it's legal stuff.
It's
BNU is
jargon.
Legal.
It's jargon.
Yeah, it's legal
That's
jargon.
right. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, everything feels like it's on the up and up here,
Yep, just going to motorbutt your titties.
legally speaking.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Because otherwise, what? But
Yeah, no, I wouldn't just say that. If I wasn't your attorney, I would never say that.
right. Okay. All right. Well, good. I get a bad feeling. So I'll see you later. Let's say bye. See you later. See you about bye. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not nervous because of you. I'm not. I'm freaked out over the whole thing. It's just a lot. Okay.
Divorce can be hard.
Yeah,
It can
it's
be
so
really
hard. It's just very confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Fucking weird bye. Huh?
So Napoleon, with no money and nothing, he decides, well, what to do. So he goes to Florence's house and asks his ex-wife for money.
Hey, oh, Jesus Christ. Look, we're not getting back together. I'm trying to climb the money ladder, but I don't need money. Please give it to me.
She's watched him get rich from afar, right? Like
Yeah.
and now he's like, hey, you got any money?
Hey. So you came back to give us some money finally? I need money.
So for some reason, she didn't give it to him. Might have been because he took $300 from Blair, but anyway.
Whatever.
In 1941, the mother of baby Jean said she had been coerced into giving up her baby and she wanted her baby back. And she went to the press. So now the 2-year-old immortal had to be returned to its mother.
Dave, she'll lose all of her goddamn
December
powers.
1941.
She's going to
I know.
lose
Well,
all of her powers. Her magic
I don't
will
know
be
if
gone.
immortals have power. I think once you're immortal, you're immortal. I don't think it reverses. I don't know.
Well, I guess the
Immortalism.
question is, at what age is immortalization conceived?
True. It's a good question.
See, now a lot of people would think removing a 2-year-old while in the state of immortality is taking a life. That's why I'm
Right.
pro-immortal.
Right.
I'm pro-immortal. I believe
Yeah.
that immortality starts at the conception of the idea of immortality.
That's right.
And I believe anything beside, and a lot of people, a lot of these left-wing lunatics think that immortality doesn't set in until about 10 or 11 years old. But no,
It does.
that's not what's in the Bible. It
That's
does
right.
not. No, it in the Bible it clearly states what I'm saying. I don't even need to reveal the passage.
What's the passage?
Exactly.
So, the baby coming to the cult in the first place was sort of the end of the cult. It kind of freaked out a lot of the cult members.
Sure.
Even
All right,
his-
we have a baby. So no, just let's all. I don't know. Fuck it. Who's got milk? What's going on here?
Even Schaefer's strongest followers at that point were like, I don't know. So
Hey, we just jumped the shark.
The money had already started driving up. So it turns out Napoleon and Schaefer had actually known each other for quite a while. Napoleon had come to him in December 1939. He wanted Schaefer to go in on buying Psychology magazine for $2,500 each. So Schaefer then turned to a rich cult member for the money. And 3 years later, in 1942, the rich cult member realized that she had been swindled, and she charged Schaefer with grand larceny.
Okay.
And of course, when they looked into it, it turns out that sure enough, Schaefer had just kept the money and not bought the magazine, and he ended up pleading guilty.
Okay.
He was given a 5-year sentence. The judge called him, quote, a thief, an ex-Klansman who swindled his own organization, a spiritual faker, a religious hypocrite who's been loose preying on misguided women for too long.
That felt like a 5-year sentence.
But it's interesting. So they both had the same idea. So first, Napoleon had the I'll just get a bunch of kids idea, and then Schaefer does it. They're both named Gene. Like, clearly they were just working together on this whole thing.
Yeah, they just went solo for a minute.
Now, Napoleon moved to South Carolina and fell in love with and fell in, not love.
I was going to say.
Napoleon moved to South Carolina and fell in with a guy who was still really angry about losing the Civil War. He ran Presbyterian College.
So he ran into every guy?
So he met his next wife, Annie Lou Norman, and then he published another book called Mental Dynamite.
Finally, it's getting weird. Gotta push it.
Mental Dynamite also failed, but he did say Gandhi had ordered copies of it, and that Gandhi hired investigators to watch him and find out if he was the real deal, because the book was going to be distributed all across India.
It's at some point you do get a little worried that, you know, maybe there's some psychosis, like maybe that, you know, like,
I don't think that
it's still all just genuinely, like, he's just outdoing himself, really.
I don't think that there's psychosis. I just think he is a world-class bullshitter. I mean, maybe there's some narcissistic shit going on. But
sure, yeah,
really
but I'm saying, like, he's not like Gandhi bought.
I don't think he believes
okay.
it. No.
Okay, all right. Okay.
It's just to push his, shit.
Okay, right.
So he moves to California. He has a radio show. He kicks around trying more schemes. At one point, he hooked up with a rich insurance guy in 1952. And then Donald Trump's former pastor, Norman Vincent Peale, published his popular book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And he credited Napoleon and the insurance guy with helping him write it.
Oh, my God. It's funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's terrible. But it is like the whole... All you can keep thinking is, like, in today's world, this guy would 100% be in government and be doing pretty well.
Him and the insurance guy started a fake charity, and they started a new magazine called Excess Unlimited. Napoleon, he tried to take it outside the U.S. He goes to Australia, New Zealand, other countries. It's not really catching on.
Well, surely Gandhi would want to distribute it.
That's right. You would think so. I mean, he hired the PIs.
Yeah.
So Schaefer got out of prison and tried to get his followers back by lecturing and writing, but it's just not happening. And in 1955, Schaefer and his wife were found dead in their car in New York. It was a double suicide.
Wow. That's crazy.
The journalist who wrote this article, this podcast is based on, Matt Novak, filed a Freedom of Information Act request for files on Schaefer on December 29th, 2014. And then he gets a letter stating all records relating to the request were destroyed on December 29th, 2014.
So they felt the need to... I guess that's how you say no to using the Freedom of the Information Act. You're like, yeah, there's none anymore. But when was it destroyed? Yeah, the second you asked, we burned it. So there's nothing. That's how the NFL handled Spygate. They were like, everyone's like, where's the tapes? They're like, oh, we burned them. It's like, what? It's like, sorry, we fucked up. Now what are you going to do?
Look, clearly the FBI, whoever the fuck it is, knows how to make immortals. That's what this is. That's what this means.
Oh, no. That would be terrible news.
In 1960, Napoleon published a new book written with his insurance buddy called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. Soon after, he split from the insurance guy and tried to sell the Science of Success course by licensing them for other people to teach. But mostly, he just really struggled to get by.
Right.
He died in Greenville, South Carolina on November 8th, 1970, and then his wife had to fight with a charity he had set up, the Napoleon Hill Foundation, over control of his estate.
Wow. So even when he's gone, his estate is just like, no, we're working on a scheme.
I mean, he set up a grift, and then the grifters he set it up with are like, let's fuck this woman out or whatever we can. Like, just
right.
The perfect ending.
Right, yeah. they've learned.
Novak, quote, foundation managers were building the supposedly nonprofit organization out of money and had squeezed Miss Hill out after Napoleon died. Wow. So the legal battles with that and the wife, that organization and the wife, would go on until the 80s. Napoleon Hill still has followers, and most believe he was just a self-help guy. So Matt Novak, quote, modern readers are probably familiar with the 2006 sensation The Secret, but the concepts in that book were essentially plagiarized from Napoleon Hill's 1937 classic
so it is
Think
the same
and
shit.
Grow Rich.
Yeah,
same
it's just
shit.
the same shit.
Which he has reportedly sold over 15 million copies
my
to
God.
date. So the only source of this is the untold story of Napoleon Hill, the greatest self-help scammer of all time, on Paleo Future, which I think is on Gizmodo. I can't, but part of Gizmodo. It's written by Matt Novak. You can also follow Matt Novak on Twitter. He's a good writer. I read a few of his things.
It's great. I mean, it's also always amazing to me, like, because you see that, like, I always remember that when I would, like, watch infomercials when I was a kid, and it would always be, like, the secret of success, or, like, you know, how to make a ton of money, or, you know, how to be, like, and
Yeah.
I was always, even from that age, I was like, the way to make the money is to be the person who's like, I'll make you money. Like, that's how you make, you know, that's like, that's how you do
right.
it. So it's always funny to, not even funny, but it's always a little disturbing when, you know, I mean, there's so many of those stories. I've had friends sign up for pyramid schemes before and shit, and like Herbalife, and like, it's just, it is what it is. It's like, I think the only difference in that story truly is that someone like that I really think would end up in government, you know? All right.
We sign cats.